Right. Kim McMenam's a candidate in the general election for the Irish People Party. Good morning to you, Kim.
Good morning, Greg. How are you?
All right, just before we get on to your commentary on housing, just a reflection on the latest opinion polls. I'm not sure how much weight you put in the opinion polls, but the TG Carr poll had you polling less than 1%. Are you looking? Do you think that's reflective of the feedback you're getting? Are you looking for a major drive over the next week, or is this really just about getting your views on the public platform, so to speak?
I am not too keen on polls. I think polls sometimes don't tell the true story of what's happening on the ground. I'm getting great feedback on the doors. Absolutely, everybody wants change, and I just want to say, some people are saying, Sinn Féin could be the change. Not many are saying that, but a few are saying it, and they are not the change. Look, they're a globalist, Marxist party. They have turned around, Sinn Féin TDs in April 2023, they voted in favour of hate speech. Now that's to censor me and you. That is communism right there. And then in March 2024, they called for a proposed hate speech legislation to be scrapped. They wanted it scrapped then, so they done a complete turnaround because they knew that the people had caught on to what they were doing. And then with the mass immigration, open borders, Sinn Féin they were accused for advocating for open borders back in 2021, right? And they were prioritising multiculturalism over national identity. Their 2018 presidential address by Mary Lou McDonald, she emphasised Ireland's diversity, stating Ireland is no longer merely orange and green. Ireland is a rainbow of identities and cultures.
Is that not true, though, Kim?
So that's what she said. Yeah, she said that in 2018.
No, but I'm saying, is that not what the country is? I mean, go into Letterkenny University Hospital and if you go into Letterkenny University Hospital, for an example, it is not green and orange. We are a diverse nation now, and 40% of healthcare workers come from outside of Ireland. So is that not a statement of fact? Well,
you're talking about the orange and the green. Well, the green, the Irish people feel they're being pushed aside. That's what I'm getting on the doors. They feel they are not getting the services they should be getting. They're not getting the housing they should be getting. Meanwhile, everybody else seems to be getting. You seem to be more favoured if you're from another country. And I know there is genuine refugees who do need emergency accommodation, right? But so do Irish people. So the Irish people feel that they are being pushed aside. That's the bottom line. No one's against people. We're all for people, and we're all for helping people. But look, we have to help our own people first. That's.
You're in favour of a fair immigration system.
Absolutely,
So
it needs to be.
It's needed, and as long as it's fair.
Well, it needs to be controlled more. You just can't have open borders and everybody gets in. And I've heard stories that buses are now coming onto the runway. And they're getting off the planes and straight onto these buses. They're not even going through the airport. And it's just because they don't want people to see that. So, while we're talking now, Greg, there's thousands coming in while we're talking.
On to housing now. I beg your pardon, Kim, sorry. Just on to housing now. You believe that people should have a right to build to the extent whereby that reasonably large construction or extension should be planning free, should be planning exempt.
Well, it's called the Right to Build scheme that we're pushing, and I think do it under emergency powers, whatever they have to do, because they used emergency powers to lock people down, and that's one thing Mary Lou says, we're not locking them down enough. You know what I mean? So we can't have these globalist Marxist parties, because that's what they are. They're totally gone extreme left. The loony left are alive and kicking in Ireland, and it's just gone too far. Everybody thinks they've gone too far, and they should be punished at the polling stations. They should be punished. Don't be fooled by them. Look, whenever I stop those 66... Hold on, Greg, let me finish. Whenever I stopped those 66 men, single men of military age, being put in beside our schools in Buncrana last October, and the Buncrana people came out and helped me. It was great. We stopped them. They're away now. Right, so we saved Buncrana in a sense, right? Now, all the parties are sort of they're doing a soft line now on immigration, but These very same people called me far right and racist back then, and now they are coming around because it's election time, almost saying the same as me. Now that's electioneering, and I'm telling you now, Greg, let me finish here. I'm telling you now, people, if you're no, Greg, let me finish. If people are listening, sorry, Greg. But sorry, Greg, let me finish. Just let me finish my sentence, please. Now, if people are going out to vote, you've got to vote for me if you want a voice for you. There's no other way around it.
I know, Kim. Can I ask? Because I asked a question about housing.
Okay. Well, housing.
Now you're talking about vote for me, but
they're totally linked, Greg. They're totally linked. Okay, sorry. Okay, let's go back on housing then.
So, in terms of quite a bit of development would be exempt from planning altogether.
Well, you can build a garden shed now in your backyard, right? 25 square metres without planning. You can do that, but you can't live in it. Okay, that's the rules. You can't live in it. So we're proposing to extend that to 65 square metres because that'll allow people to build like a two bedroom condo type flat in their backyard. That will get the young adults out of the childhood bedroom instead of just having the choice to go to the airport or stay in the childhood bedroom. Now that will give them a chance. So like there's too much regulation. The planning authorities have gone too far with planning regulations. It takes months and months and months.
Would there be any conditions to that? Because I mean, obviously, a lot of people listening here might be living in in a housing estate environment or semi-detached, and it could be an older couple on one side and the family you talk of on the other, and next thing you know, their vision lines or their sunlight is blocked by a two-bedroom apartment in the backyard.
Yeah,
I think. How would you consider the concerns of neighbours with those types of developments, Kim?
Well, you just keep the height restrictions because we don't want someone building a skyscraper in their backyard, right? So just keep the height restrictions and allow fast track it, allow people to get something in their backyard to help their family. Stop them from emigrating, to stop it splitting families up, because that's what's happening. Greg.
And just in terms of extensions too, you also believe, do you, that extensions to your current property should be exempt as well?
Yeah, extensions as well, up to 65 square metres exempt, from planning. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, but again, height restrictions are important. So, like, you can't just go like 3-story in your backyard. It wouldn't be. There'd have to be that stipulation, that regulation would have to be in place. But look, it's an emergency situation. We have a housing crisis, so we need emergency solutions. Now, they can do lots of things under emergency legislation, like they locked everyone down under that. They made everybody wear masks under that. So, emergency legislation, let's enact that. Let's use that now. This is a sticking plaster, but look, we need it sort of quickly to give people a roof over their head fast. Like we can't keep up this level of emigration of our young workers, educated, brought up in Ireland, and they have to stay in the bedroom or go to the airport. That's not fair.
I suspect though it's as much too though about most of us can't retrofit because we don't have the money to even pay the 10 or 12 grand to retrofit our homes. I'm not sure how many people in the situation you described would have the 40, 50, 60 grand lying around to build granny flats and apartments in the backyard. But it's a proposal, and we'll see what the public think, Kim.
Well, it could be grant aided as well. Like people could get grants for this because look, they can give grants for everything else. They can conjure up billions when they need it. They give 60 billion to bail out the bondholders during the crash. Like they can conjure money out of thin air. So if they can do that, and you better believe it, they did not print that money, right? That was a promissory note, and we're the collateral, we're the assets that they're relying on to get that money back. They're just using the people. Look, everybody just wants a peaceful life, and they just want to get on with it. Now, imagine if you expanded a person's expendable income, Greg. Look, currency is called currency because currents are meant to flow. You imagine if that was expanded, like during the Celtic Tiger, when that savings scheme came in, when you saved so much money, you got money off the government. Like people were able to afford an extra car, they were able to go on extra holidays. So the currency was flowing. So that means everybody was happy and smiling. Right now, it's just misery. And the people who are coming from abroad, right? The globalists are creating wars out there and making those people miserable in those non-EU countries. Now, of course they want to come to Ireland because the globalists have created the problem, and now Fianna Fáil, Fine Gael government coalition, they're coming up with a solution, so it's problem, reaction, solution. The Hegelian dialectic is being used here, you know.
Just in relation to that, before I let you go, because I do find it quite interesting, and this is not me making an argument for or against. It's just looking at the lay of the land and wondering practically what we're going to do. And it might not apply to you or either to me, really, because it is the future. I'm just thinking at this stage, our economy is kind of topped out because we're at 100% employment. That being said, that I don't like that phrase because the cost of living is so high. Being employed actually is disadvantageous for some people at this stage. But anyway, let's just say we're at 100% employment at the moment. We are an ageing population, thankfully. We're living longer, we're growing older, we're living longer, and hopefully we're going to be more healthy. But we're not producing enough babies at the moment to replenish the population. And we are going to find ourselves in the not too distant future within 10, 20, 30 years. And this isn't like climate change where you can argue back and forth on it or something like that there, or COVID or whatever. This is the fact stuff, and it's good to debate. But you know, we're not producing enough babies, so we will, and this is happening all over the world, even in China. We won't have the younger population to be the tax base to pay for the services, to take up all the jobs that would be required, and also to care for older people in care settings or whatever it might be. Like, do you have any plan or do you have any notion as to how we square that circle, Kim, without inward migration?
Yeah, just on your first point,
we're not producing the children ourselves. So how do we ensure that our younger children and their children actually live in a society that can sustain itself without the movement of people into the country?
Well, just on your first point, right, our babies, our grandchildren are being produced in Australia right now. That's where it's all taking place. Okay, so they should not have been forced out of this country, right, forced out because of lack of housing. Now, the demand on housing has increased enormously because of the immigration, the mass immigration that all parties supported. Right? They all supported
you've made your point on
the woke
immigration.
agenda.
I think there's many people who agree with you, some will disagree. I'm on about just how we sustain this country into the future without future inward migration.
Well, we've got to.
Chinese, they've lifted the limits on how many children families can have, because and America is in the same situation. A lot of the Western countries, I don't know if it's societal or what have you, are finding themselves in this same situation, that they simply are not reproducing at a rate to sustain the population. What do you think there's anything from a policy perspective that can be done to address that, to avert further inward migration? Yeah,
we've got to incentivise our exiled people to come back to Ireland. We've got to incentivise them with grant schemes, with giving them, like, you know, a bit of land. Look, there's land everywhere. There's land everywhere. Like, most populations are at the coastal regions and in cities. There's loads of land. Like, the government can compulsory purchase land for other things, so they can do it for our youth who are abroad, and bring our educated workers who were born and bred and educated in this country, bring them back to this country by incentivising them. 100%. We've got to look after our people abroad too, you know. We can't just look after people who are coming in. We've got to try and bring our people back, like, and they're highly educated workers. Bring them back, bring our nurses and doctors back. Right, we've got to just switch everything. And a switch can be flicked, because they can flick a switch when they want an advantage, Greg.
All right, Kim, thanks for your time. King McMenamin there, who is a candidate in the general election for the Irish People's Party.